hire Bob Myers as special consultant.
They're taking advantage of the fact that players and celebrities are public figures.
Yeah.
And they're...
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Sean Spencer.
And I'm Tina Winter. And it's another week of Let's Talk Football breaking news. So, Sean, what do we got?
Oh, well, free agency is dying down and the draft is coming. But one move that a lot of people were speculating about, it looks like it's happened. L'Jarius Sneed is on the move, but you'll be surprised for what they got in the deal. It's pretty interesting. Tina, what else we got today?
Well, Sneed actually did pretty well. He got a $76 million 4-year contract with the Titans. He was traded to them initially from the Chiefs for a 3rd-round pick in 2025, and they swapped their 7th-round picks in the 2024 draft. So that's the surprising part to me. Now, Sneed has now since gone to the Titans and negotiated a contract that I talked about, the $76 million. So it's kind of a strange situation. Like, the Chiefs really didn't get a lot for Sneed. So, like,
it's very surprising.
Like it's a little surprising that that's all they got was a pick for next year, that they didn't get a pick this year.
It's a 3rd rounder at that.
Yeah. Well, the reason they didn't get it this year is the Titans don't have a 3rd-round pick this year.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So that's why initially it was talked about. It was Indy was also interested in him too. But that didn't happen. And so all of that, my whole thing is just like, I'm still a little shocked that the Chiefs didn't keep him.
Yeah.
Because
I'm surprised by that.
That tandem, you have Mahomes. You're always going to have Mahomes. Mahomes is going to Mahomes. As I like to say, he likes to Kermit himself around the field. He's always going to be there. Does. But you still have to stop the other side. And Chris Jones is the line, but you need a secondary. And that secondary of the Chiefs is one of the reasons why they won that Super Bowl, and they won so much in the postseason. Like his 2023 numbers, he had 2 interceptions, 14 passes defended, 1 fumble recovery, and 78 sacks in 16 games.
I mean, and the proof is in the pudding. We know how he was able to shut down defenses, held the Baltimore Ravens to just 10 points. One thing I will say about the Chiefs, though, obviously, Steve Spagnuolo does an excellent job as defensive coordinator. But we saw where the most of that money went this offseason. That was to their big D tackle, Chris Jones. You know what I mean? So, and seeing him get that money, we knew that was something that they had to lock down. And at the same time, we have the other side of that secondary with Trent McDuffie out of Washington. You got Bolton at linebacker. You got a nice linebacker core. So it's not like they're without pieces. But to what we were saying, I just think it's just so odd that, first you tag them and then you kind of give them up for, it seems like almost peanuts. Like everybody thought it was going to be a big splash move. We were willing to pay. And it's just interesting to see this is what happened.
Yeah, like somebody that is on Twitter, he covers Kansas City, is like, essentially, they could have not franchise tagged him and let him walk. And they would have gotten the same as almost a compensatory pick.
Right.
It's almost the same thing. Now, I think this is the quintessential when you win the Super Bowl and you have free agents that are coming up to being paid next year, which he is in the 4th, was in the 4th year of his contract. You're going to have to make some hard choices. And this is probably one of the hard choices they had to make. But when you're playing in a system, when you've got Jim Harbaugh coming in with Herbert, you've got a new thing down in the Raiders with their passing attempt, because they're bringing in, I forget who they brought in. Oh, Minshew. If Minshew repeats what he did before,
but there also be most likely in the running for a quarterback. Potentially. We don't know, but
Right. We don't know.
potentially.
Yeah. But the Raiders have also beefed up their defenses too. So
Yeah.
they beefed up their line. Christian Walker, is that his name from Miami? That one?
Wilkins. Yep.
Wilkins. Yeah, Wilkin. Like they've beefed that up. So
Yep.
like everybody is I saw it it's just one of those that Spags was not happy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, you know it. You know it.
But
And
even
you
like
can't.
what yeah, Andy Reid even said at the owners thing this weekend, like, it's a business.
Yeah.
There's
You
going to
can't
be
sign
times
them
you're gonna
all.
have to you're gonna have to let them go. I guess there's a couple of younger rookies that they have. Well, maybe not rookies, but they've been there a year or two that they're gonna work on trying. But as Denver found out, if you have a shutdown on one side, they're gonna attack the other side
Right. Right.
a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
absolutely.
even though I had high hopes for Mathis and a couple of the other guys that were there, they just did not gel well. They did it from everything I've read too, the cornerback position is not linear. Like it's not a straight line progression in terms of how you learn your
Right.
position.
Right.
You could be really good, then you drop down, then you go back, you could drop even further. It's a hard position to learn. And
Oh yeah.
maybe also we'll talk about this later. There might be some other things going on in the NFL that might be because like the market for safeties and cornerbacks was really weak
Well, very true. Yeah.
and
Yeah. But
very weak.
let's also remember that it wasn't as scary of a move when you look at some of the competition at wide receiver. I mean, the
Mhm.
West lost Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and the West. I mean, still got Devontae Adams, but the West also lost Jerry Jeudy. We don't know what's going to happen with Cortland Sutton. You know what I mean? And I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know who's suiting up for. KC. We know what they're doing on their offense, but they're not going against them. But the West lost a lot of talent at wide receiver, so maybe they felt like,
Yeah.
maybe we could take this chance because the rest of our defense, we've seen how good they are. Because that's the other side of it. One of the reasons why sometimes your secondary doesn't get touched is because that defense creates such havoc up front, that front seven, that the defense, they don't get the pass off, or the passes are tipped, or everything like that. Case in point, the Dallas Cowboys. Then you got guys like Diggs and Bland looking great because a lot of those passes came out late or hurried or deflected or whatever. So that could have been a reason, but we'll see. Not exactly.
I'm sure they'll find a way that it's not going to matter. They just always Reed always does. He somehow finds it. But I agree with you. I mean, if you're looking at down and you're looking at free agencies, and the other thing to mention is they still do have 3 or 4 free agents that they're trying to sign at this point. So they need more money. So Mahomes renegotiating. The bigger issue, and I think this is the biggest factor that plays into it, is Mahomes is going to create a $30 million cap hit next year. So if they can get rid of some money now, it'll apply to the cap next year. Now, more than likely, they're going to renegotiate again. So, right. Yep, I agree. And looking at the wide receivers around the West, yeah, but here's the thing. You don't just play the West. You play other people too.
Very true. Very true. But if you can lock down your division, that's a good head start towards the playoffs. Yeah. And that's what the Chiefs have been able to do these last couple of years. That's what the
Patriots did for years
exactly.
In the AFC West. In the AFC East, yeah.
And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing them mimic what the Patriots did. So that's kind of the blueprint that it looks like that they're looking at. Look, we're going to go ahead and move on. There wasn't a lot going on in NFL free agency. But look, speaking of the New England Patriots and the Raiders, Tina, you had mentioned earlier in the year that Tom Brady was going to potentially be part owner of the Raiders, but it looks like it's not something held it up, or it's not going through. Explain that. What happened?
Okay, so the owners and the annual owners meeting was this weekend in Orlando. And Tom Brady's possible purchase of his minority interest in the Raiders was brought up again, and it didn't go to vote.
Mm.
Mark Davis, the owner of the Raiders, went in. Nobody knows what was said. Nobody knows what, because he wouldn't give a comment when he came out or anything. And so it's on hold again until the next ownership meeting in May. So based on what I've been reading, it's coming down to two things. And I think it's coming down to money, how much he's paying for the minority interest, which based on what I've read, his interest is what he was going. Tom, like they're the group, because he's in an overall group. There's an investment group. Okay. And Tom was going to get a 7% interest and pay for 7% interest of the 100% it took to buy the 10% interest. So he's not buying 10%. He's only going to owe 7% of what that is.
Right.
That seems to be okay. The calculations are okay. But the fact that this didn't get rubber stamped is telling me my initial thought on this is I think some owners have an issue with Tom having his contract next year to start being an analyst for Fox Sports.
Yeah.
And no team is going to want someone who's a part. I don't care if it's a limited partnership or not. They don't want someone that's going to have an interest in another team in the league coming into their facilities and getting inside information.
Right.
So I think this is the big problem, and they got to somehow figure out how that's going to happen. So. I mean, it's a wait and see. Let's see what happens. It could be approved. It might be.
Is there a chance it's denied, or
it could? I mean,
really?
He's got to get 75% of the owners to agree, which there's 32 owners, so that's like 24. Yeah, 24. You need 24 owners to okay this. And that's 24 owners that are saying, okay, we're going to give you this. Now, it could be like I talked before, like the Raiders and Brady will have to put up, like, he can't talk to them about anything. Because, I mean, literally when it's limited partnership, you are in there for money. You do not have any kind of managerial roles. You don't sometimes it can be an advisory role, but all those advisory roles that he's been taking on with Mark Davis is gone. Those go away. He can't do that anymore. Could it die? There's a chance it could. If he cannot get the rest of the owners over the humps that they have on the deal, it can die. And it may just be like, okay, fine, you want to own part of the team, but you can't until you're no longer in this position.
There it is.
So he might have to take a chance. He might have to decide, do I want to be an analyst or do I want to own part of a team?
Right. And like you said, the decision might be taken out of his hands by the owners. 24 owners, incidentally, who are looking at a man that over a 20-year span has whooped their butt, and they're like, "Oh, now you want to own and potentially whoop our butt from this position? Pump your brakes, Tom. Pump your brakes."
You know what? They do need some new blood inside the NFL owners, and I think getting some of the ex-players, especially ones of Brady's talent and monetary abilities, to come in and say, "No, like that's not right. Like we shouldn't be doing that or whatever." But
listen, our owners are respectable individuals. All right. I don't want any owners doing this type of thing. All right. That's all I'm saying.
Oh man. Oh wow.
I don't want to see it. All right.
Any chance you can get, right?
Any chance. Come on now.
Well, now, if the deal dies, I definitely want the clip. We've talked about it before. The deal dies. I want the clip of him throwing a temper tantrum on the field. That's all I got to say.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. We will see what is going on. Anthony talking about what's good,
Yep.
y'all.
Hey, Anthony.
How's it going? How's it going? Yo, so look, let's go ahead and move on real quick. We have a special guest that's coming on in a little bit, but before we do that, we wanted to talk. Look, Tom Brady won 7 Super Bowl. He can do it. Get out of here. Not throwing a trophy. Not happening. But before we bring Alyx on, we did want to talk about some things. There have been some proposed rule changes. We know about the one that happened today, and we're going to get to that one after a brief break. But before we do that, let's get into some of these rule changes that didn't happen, but they're still looking at.
The ones that are definitely like it died, it's not happening, is tush push is going to remain. So defenses figure out how to stop it. That's just all I got to say on that one. There's been some push to have the end zone fumble rule rescinded. As everybody knows, like if you're going in and the ball, you fumble the ball and it goes into the end zone and goes through. It's a touchback. That one's going to stay. Because Rich McKay, head of the competition committee, said they only had 4 instances of this in the regular season and 1 in the 4 instances total, 3 in the regular season, 1 in the post. And it was either good defense that caused the fumble or it was bad play on behalf of the person who had the ball. So in their minds, that's not worth it. That's not a good, we're not changing it just because you don't like the fact that you lose your ball.
Right.
Keep the ball.
Right.
Don't put a guy in there that you have concerns is going to fumble the ball.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you got to play strategy at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The bigger one that we kind of talked about before is they want to change the kickoff rules. The owners really want to change the kickoff rules. They want to make special teams important to the game again. And so they've been looking at the XFL as a way to do it, but also to make it safe for the players, because the largest amount of the concussions happen during the punt returns and the changes, the sides changing field. That's because they're coming in and they're slamming into each other is what's essentially happening. So, but right now, they're not really getting a lot of traction on it. And the reason why I came up with the 24 number is I read an article by John Mara of the Steelers. He's a big proponent for this. And he says, I've got to get 24 owners to agree with me. Now it's my job to try and do that. So that one's staying. So it's not going to change this year. We'll see what happens. So, and
there's a number that are up there. And again, every year there's a lot that gets proposed, and it doesn't always go through. Some of the ones that I think are really interesting is potentially getting a third challenge.
I think that one's gonna go. Yeah.
Is that one gonna go?
Now you've got it. Like if you win 2 challenges, you get a third.
Yeah.
They're now talking about changing it to if you win your first challenge, you get a third.
Okay.
So
nice. Oh, I like that. I definitely like that. And another one that they were talking about was with the and this is kind of eliminating a lot of the stuff with the kickoff, the onside kick. As opposed to trying to get the onside kick, they're going to give a team like a 4th and 20 situation where you can
get the option.
They have the option for that.
Instead.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I like that. I mean, I like that we're trying to figure out new ways to enhance the game, make it more fun. I mean, taking the extra point back to the 30, I thought everybody, when we first saw that, was like, oh my goodness, but how many games has that truly affected? Because that's not a chip shot anymore. And similar to this 2-point to this onside kick, I think that's something that goes from something being almost impossible to it's not common, but I've seen teams get 4th and 20. When they have to have it, I've seen teams draw up a play for that. It's not very many, but I've seen it happen. But Tina, there was a rule that got changed today, and we're gonna get into it really quickly. We're gonna take a quick breather. Got to bring up a video of our sponsor, Anton Benton. Guys, got to take a look at what he's got. And once we come back, we're going to bring on our guy, host of Broke Crew Sports Talk, host of Whateva Washington, and Washington Football Roundtable, my guy, Alyx Benton. So stick with us. We will be right back.
Hey there, ladies and gents. Your local handyman, Tom Brady, here to help you with your problems. I'm here right now on the job site, taking out whole kitchen cabinets. A little bit more work to do, but if you got a project at your house that you need to get completed, I'm your guy to finish it up for you. Give me a call, let me know what you need to get done.
Your new company, man. Shout out to your new company. Go ahead and tell the world about your new company real quick.
Oh boy. So marketing Anton Benton Pros.
Yes.
Doing everything from plumbing to electrical to making huge decks to doing closets.
Yes.
Doing it all. Doing it all.
That's what's up, man. I'm super happy
Thank
for
you guys. Thank you.
I don't see the call. Mac Jones has the ball in his hands and he takes him down for and I don't see the call. Mac Jones has the ball in his hands and he takes him down for and I don't.
Yeah, buddy, and our guy, my guy, Mr. Alyx Stevens. What up, Alex?
My bad. My phone dropped. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Nice to meet you.
Well, man.
Nice to meet you.
Yo. So you already know we don't come in here real quick, and we're gonna talk about this. The NFL has banned the drop hip tackles. You and I, Alex, have gone back and forth today about it on social media and on this other stuff. You sent me this clip, and I want to play it before we dive into this conversation.
Okay.
Mike Mitchell talking about the game. Tune into this, then we're gonna dive into it.
At the end of the day, this is football. If you want to see flag football, then let's take our pads off. That would make it easier for me. Now I don't gotta wear heavy shit. But give us flags for me to pull off, because that way I know what we're playing. You know, I signed up to play full speed contact football, and we're not doing that. I feel like I gotta ask a guy, hey, are you ready for me to hit you right now before I hit you? And that's crazy. I'm gonna mess around and get hurt trying to protect an offensive player because he's running an over route. Damn it, your quarterback shouldn't have threw that ball messed up. That happened 2 years ago. I'm not joking at all. Andy Dalton threw a ball to Tyler Eifert 2 years ago. Tyler Eifert had to die for it. I was aiming for his gut. But if he don't dive, he don't get in the head. That's 50 grand out of my pocket, though, because Andy throws a bad ball. Make that make sense. And at first you're taking our money, but now, you know, I got assholes like Matt Hasselbeck calling me a dirty player and trying my character, and we've never met before. I donate more money to Cincinnati underprivileged kids and probably the people on the Bengals. So don't give me that name. My nephew goes to school there, man. I take all that personally. If you don't know me, if you never had a conversation with me, don't judge us by what you see on football, because football is my competitive side. You know what I'm saying? So there's just so much going on in the game right now. Yes, obviously I'm a little flustered, but I mean, we just got to do better. We got to do better. I said it yesterday. We got to do better as players when we sign the next CBA. We got to get better leadership as who's running the league, because obviously everybody from fans, owners, players, all disappointed in Roger Goodell. We just got to do better. We can't have a guy where you just hand out discipline on how you see fit. There needs to be a set guideline of how we do what we do. There's no way I see two people get post-play penalties, post-play infractions that don't have to do with football, and you get.
Yeah, buddy. So, hey, honestly, real quick, I mean, if you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, the NFL has banned hip drop tackles. And some of us played the game. We've all watched the game. We're all into it. Alex, I'm going to give you the first shot to kind of talk about this. You were animated when we first started talking earlier. We came right in firing. Talk to me when you first heard this, man. What was your reaction?
Oh my goodness. that's exactly what it was. How you be doing it, Sean. But that clip that you showed, man, that was years ago. When it was helmet to helmet, you know, that's when they banned the helmet to helmet stuff. So, but here we go now. They banned the hip tackle, and I just think it's again, this is a contact sport, and I want people to understand that I'm not saying that injuries are good by no means. I don't want players to get injured at all. I get it. But at the end of the day, this is football. This is contact. You know what I mean? And these guys make millions and millions of dollars. You know what I mean? It's a job at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And you got a guy that's running full speed. He could be 6'5", 280 pounds, running a 4.4, 4.5. How you gonna try to tell someone how to tackle him right? You know what I'm saying? It's not like somebody's going really out there tackling him like, man, I'm ready to, fall on his leg to break his leg. Like, man, this is a contact sport. These are grown men. You know what I'm saying? This is what we pay to watch. They keep knocking all these rules down. You might as well, like you said, play flag football. I mean, that's what it's coming down to. College is more tougher than NFL. Let's be honest. It's sad, man. I'm sorry. I don't like it at all. You know what I'm saying? A lot of NFL players don't even like it. They're the ones that should vote. If the NFL players say, if they all take a vote and they all say, yeah, we need to do this, then okay, then all right, I'm with it. But this ain't the NFL players doing this. So I don't know. I just think it's wrong. Play football, play contact the way it's supposed to be played.
Tina, what you think? I'm gonna let you go real quick.
This is all the owners. This is about the owners protecting their investments essentially in the team, because that's what's going on. It is kind of a safety issue. So what the NFL said is swivel hip dips are not allowed. You can do dip. So I'll go through it. There's 3 rules that you got to go through. You grab a runner with both hands during a tackle. So that's the first part. Second, you unweight yourself by swiveling or dropping your hips or lower body, and then land on or trap a runner's leg or below the knee. So you need all 3 of those to be able for it to be an illegal 15 yards, lost down, whatever it is. Okay. My issue with this, and I agree with you, like this is let them play ball. The hip dip came around because we couldn't go helmet to helmet anymore. That was how they were able to still tackle. So they came up with this. Well, now you can't do swivel. You can only do a hip dip. Here's my situation that I find with this. And this is why I really think the NFLPA and the players have a problem with this is how are the refs going to, as somebody said, correctly and consistently apply these standards in every game? It's a second decision. And it's going to increase fines like nobody's business against these guys. So I agree with you. This is a rule change that affects their livelihood. If you as an owner want to protect your investment in your running backs and your wide receivers, then you also should be sitting there looking at it and going, but now I'm giving to Peter to pay Paul. Because now my defensive guys are going to start getting these fines for these hip dip violations because you're not going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to see, did he hit all 3? Can you decide that he did all 3 in 30 seconds?
Yes.
Less than 3 seconds.
Yes.
So that's my problem with it. I don't have a problem with the safety part of it. Like they want to protect people. So, because this is the big one. Yeah.
But this is the reason why. And to Alex's point, so I'm a football player at heart. So obviously
I didn't play, so you guys know more about this than I do.
But you love the game, and there's a certain way that the game is meant to be played, and a certain way it's meant to be watched. But let's be very honest. Since the 60s, which is the glory days, 60s, 70s, they've been trying year after year to make it safer and extend it. So it's like what you're saying, pay Peter to pay Paul, because what they want to make it safer, but at the same time, they also want us to play 18 games. You know what I mean? This has been a slow progression. We know about the Tom Brady rule where he got hit, below the, low, and they started saying, okay, you can't hit quarterbacks low. We know about the helmet to helmet and the projecting. We know about the face mask and that projecting. That once 5 or 15, and they had to judge it. Horse collar. So what I'm saying is, this is all things that are a part of the progression of the game. For a long time ago, if you got hit in the head, you got your bell rung, as they call it, you shook it off, you put the smelling salts, you kept back in the game. Once they started focusing on CTE and the head stuff, a lot of people said that same thing. You're ruining the game. These guys are supposed to be tough. But the problem is, after the game, after these guys have to live lives after football. And I get that they're making all this money, but it doesn't make them any less of a human. And so one of the things that I think we gotta, when it comes to this, I get it, because for me it's terrible because you don't want to see it ending. But the problem is, everybody in the game nowadays, they're getting bigger, they're getting stronger, they're getting faster. And they're also figuring out new ingenious ways to bring a guy down. If I've been rushing all day on you and for 150, 200 yards, and you've been getting gashed all day, you're going to do what you need to do to make sure I don't get up that next time. As a running back, I've had it where the guy tackles me down low and then rolls with my ankle still in there, and then now I'm getting up feeling funky. You know what I'm saying? So from a running back's perspective, this is good. This is long overdue. So many knees and ankles and feet have been messed up via this tackle. Bo Jackson, they pulled him down by the hips, and that, you got the hip pointer and everything like that. Look, I might be in the minority on it, but I think it's what's going to help us to continue in this game. We want to continue to see it, and we got to have these guys having our best guys on the field to do that.
No, I agree with what y'all are saying. I'm not knocking what y'all are saying. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, will these refs get it right? Will they get it right? I mean, we know that with the head collisions, there's plenty of times where they call the flag and then they look at the review. And mind you, the team got a first down, then they look at the review and it won't even a head-on-head collision. You know how many times that they're gonna call a flag on this hip thing? You know what I'm saying? And then
it's going to take a number of games of fans arguing with each other about this call.
Right, and then both guys are gonna get up. The offensive player and the defensive player. They're gonna be looking at each other like everything's fine. You know what I'm saying? The other team got a first down because they're gonna look at the review and be like, it was a perfect tackle. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we don't want to see injuries on no players, absolutely. But but who's that linebacker? Ryan Shazier, right? He got paralyzed or something like that. All right. A lot of players saw that, right? But they still play the game. At the end of the day, when they get on that field, right, and that kickoff is gone and the time starts, that's a risk they have to take. You know what I'm saying? With these injuries, I hate to say it. I know that's kind of rude to say that. I'm not trying to be rude, and mind you, I don't like injuries at all, and I hate to see it. You know what I'm saying? But it happens. It happens. It's a contact sport. It's a collision sport. You're hitting somebody. So at the end of the day, injuries happen. Like you go down. I mean, it ain't even just about contact sport and football. Yeah, I mean, anybody can fall down the steps and just walk in or fall and trip. Injuries happen. You dig what I'm saying? But that's a risk that they have to take. This is what they signed up for. And if they don't want to do that, like you said, Sean, they want to have a life after football, then don't play. Because at the end of the day, there's people out there that hurt you, man. Or play, you know what I mean? That's football. This is contact. You dig what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that trying to be rude. I'm not trying to say that to be rude.
I get it. You good. But look, let's go into this, because we have a segment on this show that Tina came up with called Overreaction or Reality. So we're gonna go along with that with this very question: overreaction or reality? This rule is going to ruin the game. Is that an overreaction or is that reality?
I'm gonna say it's already reality. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's already. I think some of the rules that are now are ruining the game. The game now is soft. It is. It's not the same, man. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. Remember, I told you Sean Taylor would not last in his league. He rolling in his grave right now. Rest in peace to Sean Taylor. He wouldn't last in his league. You know how many times he hit it with his head and knocked people? Yeah, come on, man. And not just him. A lot of Ray Lewis wouldn't be able to play in this league. He wouldn't. Ray Lewis, Brian Dawkins, all these hard hitting say, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I get what you, Alyx. I get what you're saying. Tina, what you think?
Well, considering I'm a fan of Steve Atwater, who has that famous hit against
Christian
Okafor
Okoye,
and the Chiefs. Like, I love hard-hitting
Yeah,
cornerbacks.
yeah.
I love them. I think they're great.
Oh yeah.
Here's the reality of it is the owners own the team. They hire the players.
You're right
And
about
as
that.
long as the owners think that their investment, their $20 million, $8 million 4-year player could
Mhm.
get hurt. And we're mostly talking about running backs here, is where this kind of happens. They're going to protect it in any way they can. This is the number one injury according to the NFL. That's why they're going into this. Players learned you can't horse tackle anymore.
Horse
You
collar,
can't
yeah.
do helmet to helmet. Yeah, we're still having some issues. And I did a whole thing on like what I personally, my biggest thing on this, and the reality, this is the overreaction is I don't think it's going to kill the game.
Mm.
The reality is I don't think the refs are going to get this right
Mhm.
at all. You're going to have people that it's going to be like, they're going to show it wasn't he didn't meet all three. You're going to be arguing, well, he didn't hit. The easy thing should be, did they land on their knee? Pull them down at or
Mhm.
below the knee. If they don't land on them at or below the knee, they didn't hit all three. That's a simple thing. But
Mhm.
we know it's not going to be simple.
No, it's not. It's not.
It's going to cause some issues. But I kind of agree with you too, Alex. Like, this is ruining defense. You're literally, again, trying to make the games high-scoring games and not have defense like there needs to be or like there used to be. You already have quarterbacks and safeties that are playing against guys that are 50 to 60 pounds heavier than them already, and you're taking away an advantage. Like,
Right.
you can't tackle this, you can't do that. The line
Right.
can't do cut blocks anymore. So
Right.
I'm 50-50. But again, my big thing is I just don't think the refs are going to be. This is going like it's going to be horrible
It's gonna slow it
as
down.
to how this gets applied. This
Oh,
gets
yeah.
applied. This
Oh
gets
yeah,
applied.
and so the reality of the situation is it's going to slow the game down because we're going to have to go back and look at every play. Was that a foul? Did he do this? Did he do that? For me, I'm an old school running back. I mean, and from an old school running back perspective, who had to go through a season where they talked about all these running backs are all of a sudden devalued. To me, this is a conspiracy theory. Oh man, yeah, they're devalued. They're trying to take out these running backs. This is going to stop them from taking out these running backs. They taking out their legs. I think it's an overreaction that it's going to ruin the game. I don't think it's going to ruin the game. And the reason being is when they said you couldn't do the crackback, they said that was going to ruin it. When they said you couldn't chop block, that was going to ruin it. When they said the horse collar, that was the face mask. All of these things, the late hit, all of these things they said were going to ruin it and we weren't going to do it. What ended up happening is players evolved. They were able to figure it out how we're going to get this thing to work. And if you looked at it, yes, this game, the league is more towards the offense, but look at what happened. Look at who won the Super Bowl this year. Look what they did in the playoffs. They shut down the high-powered offense that held them to 10 points. They shut down they still went to overtime against San Fran, but I mean, they shut down that run game. You know what I mean? With the exception of like one or two runs from McCaffrey. The Chiefs' defense is what made it happen. So at the end of the day, you still have to have a defense. And I think these guys, like you said, Alex, they are professionals. They do make this money. And I think just like if you're at a job and they say, okay, hey, you've been doing it this way. Well, now you got to do it this way. Well, that's going to tear up how I'm doing. You figure it out and you keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, like Tina said, these owners are going to come down with these rules. They're going to do whatever they got to do. The 18-game season, potentially less preseason games. All of this is going to your point about they're going to get hurt regardless. So if we can do something to kind of kind of limit them from getting hurt and at least get them to continue to be on the field, then I'm for it. And as somebody that's dealt with this kind of tackle and that roll and how they, your legs get all trapped up in there, I personally like this. I don't think it's gonna mess up the game. I don't think it's gonna bankrupt the game.
was I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't like it at all because I think.
Well, I don't like it either. I don't think any of us like it.
Dog, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, man. I think, and like y'all just said, it's all about that right there. It's all about the money. You know what I'm saying? And it goes
All
back
about
to
limiting your liability is what the
right,
owners are doing.
right. And what else are these owners doing? You know what I'm saying? Because there's some games where we watch the game and it's like, what was that? Why would the ref call that? Game's over. You know what I'm saying? In the game, it's like, man, did something cheat on going on? Like, was there something rigged going on? Maybe the players don't know nothing about it. There's been games time after time of refs doing something like that, or you know what I'm saying? Something fishy going on. You dig what I'm saying? So, but that tackle that we saw on that review with KJ Henry. Going around and making that perfect tackle, and they said, it was a helmet to helmet or whatever. Bro, it's how many times has players been doing that, and the refs, boom, call that, it's a flag, bro. They're gonna do the same thing with the hit tackle. I'm telling you, they're gonna do that, and players are gonna be like, "What's going on?" I'm telling you, oh man, it ain't gonna do nothing but chaos, man. This year is just gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of that. I got a feeling it's gonna be a lot of that, man. It's like, man, play football. You know what I mean?
I've been saying it for years, and everybody's like, no, it won't happen. NFL needs professional refs like the NBA does, where the guys, that is their only job to do this.
Right.
Not be a contract, because that's what they are. They're contract employees. They're people that come in and they have other jobs that they do. And that's the thing. They're always like, the NFL's always like, oh, well, we grade them. And if something happens, they're pushed lower down on the poll and they don't get to do the big games. And it's like, but that's not the point. Right. The point is you need people that they're doing this week in, week out. This is what they love to do. They know every rule. They know all this. And I personally think, like, if I was the head of the officials, it would be like weekly Zoom meeting. Every NFL ref has to call in, and I'm going to play this clip over and over and over and over and over again, saying this one was right, this one was wrong, this one was right, this one was wrong. Weekly this review. Is why you're wrong. Yeah. Explain to me why you were wrong, because they're not even calling it correct sometimes. Because we talk about the helmet to helmet hits. There's two rules. There's one about the direct helmet to helmet hit. And then there's the other one that I can't remember the name of it, but they look so similar. They're not calling the helmet one because the NFL changed the rules this year. There's a helmet one and there's the other one, and they're calling the wrong calls. So again, my plea to the NFL, get professional refs. And I know they don't do it because there's not enough games and it's a short season and there's all these other reasons, but yeah, the owners can argue about it.
But is the NFL really the toughest sport, like in the league? You know what I mean? Like in all sports, that's what I'm trying to say. Is the NFL the toughest? I mean, look at hockey. You know, these guys are they look worse than the NFL. And are they complaining about rules? Like, come on. I mean, not like the NFL. You know what I'm saying? It's like, man.
Oh, bruising is part of hockey. I'm not a huge fan, but that's all that I picked up is there are guys that are literally hired to be enforcers on hockey. Their job is to go into the game and beat the crap out of somebody.
Which used to be what they used to have in football. They used to have that in football. Now, I will say this, though. What we've seen, especially from this year, is that football is, I don't know, I want to say it's becoming more mainstream. I think it's full-fledged mainstream. This is not just an American thing. This is international. This is not just a male thing. This is female. This is everybody's involved in this. So you also got to look at the marketability of it, because look at basketball. One of the things that a lot of people hate about nowadays game of basketball is that some of these players don't play a full 82 games. They take 4 or 5 games off. They get their rest so that they can get ready for the playoffs. The old school guys will be like, oh, man, that's terrible. What are you doing? But when people come to the games, they want to see these guys play. And the NFL is saying, just like you said, Tina, if we can protect our investment, keep these guys out there on the field. What good are these guys to them if they can't get on the field? You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to it. I hate it, but it is
right. And that's a risk that they have to take. There's been guys that have been penalized. There's been guys that have been with concussions. There's guys been broken legs, broken arms. All this happens in the NFL. And when they see that, the cart comes out, they drag them out. And it ain't like players say, man, that was a bad injury. You know what? I quit. I'm done. No, they get right back on that field and they be like, you know what? I'm risking it all. You know that.
Hold up. Now you can't.
There was one player. Is that what you're talking about?
You can't tell me. No, I'm saying you can't tell me after that DeMar Hamlin situation. You wasn't like, man. Let me. Just,
what's Lamar Hamlin?
Lamar Hamlin. That's the one that
had the heart attack on the field.
Died on
right. And that
was a freak
and that
accident.
happened.
But it's still. I mean, even I sat back there. I was like, ooh.
I've never
seen that. So I never think you question somebody, but at the same time, they're making that. So
right. And what happened when he came back? He ain't retired. He got right back on that field. And you know what? He said, you know what? I'm gonna risk it.
Player. Never got on
the field. Bro, but he was he still anything could happen though, bro, and he still risk it. He's like, you know what? I'm still gonna go out here. I mean, you know, bro. I'm sorry if I was if that happened to me, if that happened to y'all, would y'all retire?
Look, no, I would. But see, but that's it. Okay, but
this player, yeah, I wouldn't retire.
Oh yeah. No, come on. Because I know I'm not
teams are not what they used to be. Let's just first admit that. Special teams is not what it used to be. I mean, Terrell Davis became a running back for our team because he went and hit the crap out of somebody and knocked him out of the game.
Yeah.
That's the way special teams used to be. It's not that way anymore.
Right.
At the end of the day,
now, quarterback, I got knocked out, had a heart attack, died on the field. I might take my $20 million and go.
Absolutely. But look, at the end of the day, Tina, we're always going to be on opposite sides of this because I played running back. He played linebacker. So he'd be the one benefiting from the hip tackle. So, of course, he's for it. And I need to protect my running backs, okay, so we can make the money, all right? Yeah. So I like this rule. Let's keep this.
But just what I just saw in the other comment, it was Joe Theismann, and I can't think of the other people. Smith, but I mean, look at Alyx Smith, bro. 17 surgeries. You know what I'm saying? Remember his leg? His leg was almost amputated, bro. You know what? You know what he did? He came back. He risked it. That's football. That's what I'm talking about. That's respect. That's respect. He came back. He did his thing.
That's insanity. Even I said don't come back. We played the Rams.
Oh no, I get it.
That first game, I was like, retire.
Right.
Please retire. Just.
Oh, I get it, bro. But that's football. He could have just, and that's a risk. At the end of the day, he took his leg out there, them 17 surgeries, and that was a risk that he took. You know what I'm saying? And he brought us to the playoffs, remember? But he didn't play in that playoff game because his leg was, you know what I mean? But this is the risk that these NFL players have to take. You know what I mean? So deal with it. Play football. It's contact. Injuries happen. I hate to say that. I'm not trying to say that in a rude way because I don't want to see nobody injured. But injuries happen. It's a part of being a contact sport. Just like in basketball. Basketball is somewhat contact, but they get hurt too. They legs get twisted, broken. You seen the leg broken, came out the skin and the bone. You know what I'm saying? It happens, bro.
But it's different. It's different with football because if I'm going 100% this way and you trying to bring me back, sometimes you're going to lean back and try to drag me back. And somebody's got to give when it comes to that. And when we start rolling, look.
Right. As I should, Sean. I should do whatever I can to get you down. That's my job.
That's my point. Look.
I know what you're saying. I'm not down to you up there.
Yo, my guy. Look, we can go at this all day long.
Oh, yeah.
Let us know what you think about this. Let us know do you think the NFL banning the hip drop tackle, if that is ruining the game, or if we can figure out a way around this? Hey, listen, Sean, my bad. I don't mean to cut you off. Tell people to watch that. And this has happened before the ban came along. Before they banned the hip tackle, but go watch the Richard Sherman and Skip Bayless. Richard Sherman was talking about this.
And people need to go back and watch that. And Richard Sherman is like trying to tell Skip, listen, if you ain't played a lick of football, you don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? Sherman was talking about this hip banning the tackle or whatever. It's like it was all bull. So people need to go back on YouTube and watch that. Richard Sherman was calling this out. You know what I mean? But now it's banned, so it's whatever. But my bad. Go ahead,
he
Sean.
was doing it because he knew it was coming. Sherman knew it was coming down the line. I think everybody knew it was coming down the line. So they were trying to do as much as they could to maybe try and influence some of these owners who might have been slightly on the edge to say, because we don't know. Because again, like we talked about in the early part of the section, you only need 75% of the owners to approve a rule. As far as I remember, I will check that and confirm that. But if you only need 24, might have gotten a few more people to try.
Sway a couple people.
Yeah, maybe swag. Yeah, that was I normally don't watch Bayless, especially after Sharp left. I can't watch it, but I watched that one because Sherman had a lot of really, really good stuff to say about this. You're honestly part of the reason why I'm on the fence is you're putting the secondary and the linemen at a disadvantage automatically.
Yeah.
Because like I said, you're not saying you can't do a hip dip. You can't do a swivel hip dip. But
the league has been leaning towards that for a long time.
That's going to be the next thing that's going to happen. But
that's what's been happening. So, hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, again, let us know what you think. Definitely check out that was on Undisputed with Skip and Richard Sherman. Yeah, definitely check that out, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, listen, we want to give a special shout out to our guy, Mr. Alyx Stevens, for hopping on here. Alex, man, appreciate you, buddy.
Definitely, man. Love y'all. Y'all be safe, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll rap with you, my guy.
Y'all be safe.
You too. Bye-bye.
Yeah, buddy. So, Tina, that's it for us tonight.
We could have done a whole show on that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Great combo. Hope you guys can definitely check it out because I think you guys are going to enjoy it. That's it. That's it for us. Tina, we will be back next week. We're getting closer to the draft, Tina.
I know.
I started looking at some of these quarterbacks. I heard J.J. McCarthy is starting to move up, potentially being looked at number 2 by Washington.
Yeah.
What?
He's climbing up. Harbaugh's doing his PR job for McCarthy. Right. But the reason, I know we're trying to get off, but we can talk about this next week. But the reason why McCarthy is moving up is his strengths are other people's weaknesses. So that's what always happens in this month before the draft. Everybody's getting their PR people out. They're talking about what this guy's better. Like Mel is already doing his draft and everything. And I'm hearing things like, I wasn't too sure about Bo Nix, but from what I'm hearing from some people about him, he seems like he's very similar to Drew Brees. Mm-hmm. And we know how Drew Brees did in the Sean Payton regime. So that could be a possible one too. So there's a lot of stuff coming out. And so next week, I think should be, we'll probably talk about some of these movements that are happening.
Yeah. And I'm sure some moves will potentially happen, maybe some potential early trades for the draft, but definitely want to look at some of these players and whatnot.
I don't think we're going to see too much free agency moves other than minor things or like so-and-so actually finalize their contract. So, I'm sorry.
Happy Feet. So Bo Nix, who you're just talking about, who he calls Happy Feet. Bo Nix used to go to Auburn, and at Auburn, like he was running around all those SEC defenses. So then he transferred to Oregon. So that's what he calls Happy Feet.
Okay.
Hey, and at the end of the day, it's all about the system. If these guys get into the right system, they can excel. They all have the talent. I mean, this quarterback crew is rich. And Tina, let's look into that this week. Let's kind of dive into some of these rookie quarterback and see.
And maybe who we think the team that they should be, who we think will draft them and where they think they should go.
Where they would have success. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, hey, Handy, what you doing next Monday, buddy? Want to hop on?
Yeah, I was just going to say that off. As soon as we got off, I was going to be like, Handy.
Right? So, hey, Anthony, if you're free next Monday around this time, we'll take the end of the show, and we'll take most of the show because I doubt, like you said, Tina, that anything's going to be happening as far as free agency. So we'll start to look towards the draft, and we'll get Handy on here, maybe get Alyx loose more on here a couple weeks down the road, and talk college and stuff like that, and getting us closer to the draft in Detroit, Michigan, April 25th through 27th, I believe.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 25th because the show I was listening to, they're going to have a pre-draft show on the 24th.
There you
That
go.
they were going to invite people to in Detroit. So yeah, it's the 25th through the 27th.
Yeah, I can dig it. What do you say?
What free agency is left?
Oh no, yeah, it's mostly done. But Handy, next week, college quarterbacks, man. Let us know if you can hop on here and join in. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. For your boy Sean Spencer, my lovely host
Tina Winter.
There you go.
Thank you for tuning in, guys. And as always, Sean, love working with you. Can't wait till next week. Interesting things I'm sure everybody will come up with.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, and for all my Michigan State fans out there,
let's go Tar Heels!
You already know what it is. You know what it is. Let's go. No, hey, Handy, next week I asked you first. I was saying me and Alyx got something down the line. I was saying if you want to hop in there, definitely let us know. You know about these college quarterbacks that are coming out this year. So let me know, but yeah. We'll see y'all next time, people. Bye.
Bye. That's a wrap.
Jack. Washington had no hesitation in this offseason. They hired Bob Myers, the special consultant.
They're taking advantage of the fact that players and celebrities are public figures.